Welcome to the Leveraged and Loving It podcast, business advice for coaches and thought leaders. And now your host, Renee Hasseldine.
Welcome back to Leveraged and Loving It. On today's episode, we are joined by Jon Hollenberg to talk all about websites, which I'm kind of excited about because I know from speaking to many of you that you have had some very shitty website experiences. And so we're going to talk to Jon about, how not all website developers are assholes. And there actually are some good ones out there. So great to have you on the show, Jon.
Thanks for having me, Renee. Great to be here.
Have you ever heard an intro like that? Not all website developers are assholes.
Look, in 13 years of building websites, I have seen a trail of destruction out there. So I get it. It's sort of the website designers are almost, no offense to used car salesmen out there. We do a lot of work in automotive, but they're sort of seen as, that sort of category of people out there in the world, unfortunately. So I'm on a mission to change that.
Yes. Good. Well, let's do that today because, we can talk the good, the bad, the ugly. Why is it so ugly? Why are people having such ugly experiences? What's going on?
My view on this is it's around misaligned expectations.
Yeah, okay. So the clients have got to own some of this.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It takes two to tango. So really, obviously, just like any other relationship, it's usually the ambiguity that kills things at the end of the day. So by fleshing out as much detail as you can, by providing a really, really awesome, clear, detailed brief, and making sure that a potential website design partner understands that brief, can fix a lot of those issues that people face as part of these projects.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important because I think a lot of business owners who want a website created do have a bit of an expectation that their minds will be read.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So it's know what I want.
Exactly. And it's funny you say that. So we, as part of our sort of onboarding process, our induction process, we talk about at the very tail end of the induction, we talk about our superpowers and then our kryptonite, right? So our superpowers are we're going to deliver and we're going to do an amazing job and we're going to over communicate and all that sort of stuff. But our kryptonite is like mind reading or, perfection. So, no one is perfect. If there's things we can improve about, we want to know about it, all that sort of stuff. So,
yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And I'd have to say, of the business owners I've spoken to, I have heard an element of this when they tell me their horror stories about getting websites created. A lot of the time I say, did you actually talk to the service provider about this? Did you have a conversation? Because it sounds like a lot of the time that it is a communication breakdown.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing from you is it's kind of it's a similar thing from your perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But also, I think that not all website developers are created equally.
100%. Well, so you look at the barriers to entry, and really, what do you need to be a website designer? And it is literally a computer, internet connection, and knowing enough about, say, installing WordPress to be dangerous, right?
Yes.
And you're a website designer.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I see is people who've realized they can go into cPanel, hit the auto install to create a WordPress theme. They can work out how to add a theme to it, and they're like, I'm a web designer. Look at me.
Yeah. It happens a lot. So, and for this exact reason, I actually published a book about this, and really, the book's called Love at First Sight.
Nice.
And once you SITE, obviously, once you read it, you're not going to know how to build a website, but you are going to know how to brief a website designer or a digital agency, and understand all the mechanics and everything else that sort of go into it. So,
yes. Great. So what sort of things does a business owner need to be clear about to brief their web? You're saying web designer, I'm saying web developer. So hold on, maybe we should actually go back a step because
here we go.
Cross purposes, right? What's the difference and what do we actually need?
Yeah, well, you need a combination of both. But I'd go further. It's almost, so really like where we've got traction in our business is by implementing just great strategy. So the strategy is the foundation, making sure that we're really clear on who we're talking to. So who are the target audience?
Yep.
Obviously making sure that we've got a very clear understanding around what the business actually does and how they add value to the world and how they're different to their competitors, and making sure that we as a digital agency, I'll refer to us as a digital agency, have a great understanding of that, and then getting really clear on what are the outcomes that a business wants. So where are they at? So maybe they've got a website already, and we take a bit of a baseline and saying, well, does this website do what it needs to do, or how does it reflect you at the moment? And then we say, where do you want to be? Okay, so this is a really crucial, important part of briefing a website designer, because as going back to those misaligned expectations, I wanted you to build an amazing website, and I just assumed that in week one that we'd be getting a ton of leads and inquiries coming through, and the phone would be ringing off the hook and all that sort of stuff. Whereas maybe that's not the case because you're in a highly competitive industry or whatever, right? So getting really, really clear on how the client will measure the success of the project. So we obviously ask that question up front to say, are those misaligned expectations? So we can maybe reel that in or do some more education, and just so the client understands exactly, what, say, the next 12 months actually look like in terms of results.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So, I mean, surely there aren't people out there who think that if they build a website, people are going to come in droves. That's not how it works.
Well, look, to varying degrees, and obviously as time has progressed and the internet has been around for much longer, and maybe people are on their second or third or fourth website, as a business owner, they become more educated and informed and more sophisticated and all that sort of stuff. But just making sure that we're very much aligned in terms of how the strategy is going to be rolled out and all the pieces of the puzzle that'll bring it together.
Yeah. And I think, you're talking about the outcomes and where they see their business going. That's also important from a functionality perspective, because, you're going to need to know what things might need to be bolted on down the track and make sure that whatever's being created is compatible with that, right? So knowing where things might be going, phase 2, phase 3 is important 100%. When you're creating phase 1, so you don't have to throw it out and start again.
Yeah. So bigger picture. So maybe, in the coaching world, it might be that I'm going to bolt in a membership site, or I need a shop to be able to sell stuff, or, I've got a whole bunch of subscription products that I want to sell, or whatever.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah. So, and do you have a preferred sort of platform that you build websites on, or were you a WordPress person or something else?
Most definitely, yeah. So WordPress is our weapon of choice. WordPress, I think that by last count is around 30% of the internet. There's a ton of plugins that you can bolt in and extend functionality. But just generally, out of the box, super search engine friendly from a client's perspective in terms of being able to manage and maintain content nice and easy. So that's part of our delivery process in terms of making sure that clients are comfortable in the driver's seat before handover. But most importantly, that there's a plan for support as well. So I think where a lot of people come unstuck is a website designer will go, here's your website, and then move on to the next project, and then never hear from that partner again. Whereas we very much say, we want to be in your life for a long time to come, because the nature of a website is it will grow, it'll evolve, it'll change, just as your business does the same.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a living, breathing asset in your business, isn't it? It's not like you print, it's a printed document, it's printed and it's done and move on.
100%.
Yeah. Cool. So what sort of questions should people be asking, if they're kind of, out there looking for their digital agency, then I'm going to start using your terminology. If they're looking for someone to build their website, what sort of questions should they be asking people to avoid those, not so positive experiences?
Well, so in my book, I actually wrote a big long list of 50 questions you can You can ask a website designer, but it's and this goes back to the very first comment around having ownership of the process. And this is the same deal. If you're partnering with a home builder to build your dream home, like, you're going to put in a whole heap of research, and you're going to do due diligence and all that sort of stuff. So it's really about doing the same. So it's looking at the website designer's experience. So have they got experience in your industry? Can they show you examples of work that they've done? Can you describe the process that you're going to run me through in terms of delivering my website? Having a discussion around who's going to prepare content. So making sure that there's no misaligned expectations there in terms of the assets that need to be created. How you're going to handle design. So design is usually a step where people become unstuck, and design is a very personal thing. And what one person constitutes good design may not be the same for the provider or whatever.
Yeah.
So making sure that you've had conversations around, well, how many design iterations do I get? What happens if I don't like it? Will you keep working on it until I am happy? So a good provider should guide you through that process. And then it's getting really clear on the tools. So, you're going to use WordPress, and then all the other stuff. So will you set up like Google Analytics? Will you handle the whole transition from the old website to the new website? And then, there's a bunch of stuff around like the team. So are you a one-person show, or, do you have multiple team members? So when someone partners with us, they're not getting just one person. They're getting a whole suite of people with very specialized skills. So in my instance, I bring the web strategy to the table. We've got 3 user interface designers. We've got a team of coders. We've got copywriters. We've got SEO experts, all that sort of stuff, right? So it's getting a good lay of the land in terms of who are the different team members that will be working on the website.
Yeah.
And then just practical stuff. So it's like if I am massively unhappy, do you offer a money back guarantee, or what are the different payment milestones? How long will it take to deliver? How will we negotiate scope creep? All this sort of stuff. So they're probably, just some examples of questions that should be asked at the start of the process.
Yeah, great. I think that's some really great advice. I hope you're all writing madly down all those questions in your notes, because I think that's, in terms of avoiding those nightmares, you've really got to get those questions answered up front before you actually sign on the dotted line. Like, know that stuff in advance. Otherwise you're going to get nasty surprises. And
then just the other big part of that is social proof. So are they eating their own dog food? Are they publishing blog posts? What does their website look like? Do they have Google reviews? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And do you, let people speak to past clients, or, and see about their happiness, or do you recommend people do that?
Yeah. So to be honest, a lot of clients have never really requested that. But what we do is, so one of the critical drivers in our business are our Google reviews, right? Yep. So we've actually pegged remuneration and bonuses to that. So the staff here are actually very, very incentivized to extract a 5-star Google review from a client. And because of that, we have now got, I think, 103 5-star Google reviews.
Wow.
In the website world, is pretty unheard of. Usually, as you said, there was a trail of destruction and broken promises and negative reviews and all that sort of stuff.
Broken hearts.
Yeah, 100%. So really so that's the social proof that people are looking for.
Great.
Even before they come and talk to us, they Google us, they check us out, and they see that feedback. And
I'd love to understand a bit more about how you incentivize the team to get those 5-star reviews, because I think as business owners, that's a great strategy for building that social proof, because a lot of the time we may get the referral, but we might, people might do it on Facebook or do it wherever, but they're not putting it on Google. That's one place we're missing out. So tell us a bit about what your sort of strategy is for getting that to work.
It's not super complicated. It's basically there is a cash bonus that is paid to the heads of department if they get a 5-star Google review.
Right.
And then because my
and you
thought
just
process,
leave it up to them to extract it out of the client to make the client do it.
Oh, we got a standard operating procedure for that. So there's
Okay.
there's a script and there's a time to do that, and obviously we'll follow up and it's even in the induction process we say the team here are very incentivized and motivated to get a 5-star Google review. So at the start of the process we plant the seed so that when 3 months down the track comes, there's no surprises or anything like that. And then, so my thought process was like, how do I incentivize my staff in terms of productivity or client satisfaction? And it's just like, what's the simplest way of doing this? If someone is willing to write a 5-star Google review, obviously they're happy, they've got a great outcome, they're willing to put their name to it. And it's on a place that's got the most leverage, i.e. Google. Because then it ties into the whole algorithm and Google My Business Directory and all that sort of stuff. And then we can just repurpose it. So we can reuse it then on our portfolio page for the client. So we literally just copy and paste. And then we can also include it in our proposals or anything else that we need it. But it's in the place that's going to get us the most leverage. So a lot of people will say, oh, can you give me a testimonial? But then it's, it just goes on a random page on their website and there's not a lot of leverage there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, true. But then you're not getting them on social media platforms, for example. So do you also ask for reviews on those places, or what's your thinking around that?
Well, for us, we're a B2B business.
Yep.
And where most of our work comes from is through referrals. So probably it's about a 50-50 split between referrals and then straight off the back of Google. So either way, a referral, if it comes through to us, is warm. So there's a high level of trust there already. They'll still go to our website to check us out to make sure we walk the talk and we are who we say we are. But even then, if they Google us, then they're going to see our profile pop up and see the Google reviews show up. And then if it's a more generic search phrase, so say if someone's searching on like a website designer at the Gold Coast, we're in the mix there in terms of the search engine results page, the local pack that shows up, and there's a massive disparity between us and say our competitors. So we've created a big wedge there of that overwhelming social proof. So really like a platform, to answer your question, like Facebook actually doesn't give us a lot of leverage because that's not where our B2B clients are.
Yep.
So I'm really bothered with it is the honest answer.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's so great to hear you say that, and refreshing, John, because pretty much everyone I speak to is so heavily invested in social media that it's nice, and it's almost a relief to hear that it's possible to actually live your life and run a business without spending all your days trawling through social media.
But if you're a B2C customer, so say my wife's got a day spa here at the Gold Coast, obviously Facebook still is a very important part of that. So she then balances the two. So she still wants a Google reviews because that ranks really well for all the local search intents, but also social media. And you'll actually find that when you say Google business name, typically the Facebook listing is in the actual search engine results page, like usually around like position 3 or 4 or 5.
Right.
And it actually shows a number of reviews in there as well. So it's, a B2C business, you probably need to balance the two.
Yeah, great. And I think our audience is, we've got a combo of B2B and B2C. So, great. All right. Any final hot tips or advice for the audience before we wrap it up today?
Oh, well, just to carry on that theme, like whatever you can do, pull out all stops and get those Google reviews, because if you think about it, even if you're a referral-based business, as I just said, they're going to Google you, and this is the start of that journey, literally on the Google search engine results page. So if there is that overwhelming social proof, you're just starting it on the right foot, right?
Yeah.
So there's different tools out there where you can send a really just succinct, pretty link to a client that then pops up. So we can put that in the show notes. I'll send you a link to that.
Right.
Essentially, all you need to do is just, Google your business name, punch it into this tool. It'll generate a nice little link. And then all the client needs to do is click on that link, and it'll take them straight to the little pop-up box that appears when you write a review on Google.
Yeah.
All they got to do is click 5 stars. Obviously, they need to be signed into Google, and then write the review. So simple as that. Just make it super easy.
Make it so easy.
And then build a system for it. Make sure there's a system behind it, because it's only as good as the system that is followed at the end of the day. So making sure that everyone understands the system and there's really clear steps around extracting those reviews.
Yeah. I love that. And I'm actually going to take that on board to incentivize the team to get those reviews and testimonials in public places, at least.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it
keeps everyone honest. And that's the great thing about Google's platform is there is high integrity there as well, in the fact that everything is visible, it's open, you need to be signed in, so it's not anonymous, and it's all there on show.
Yep. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jon. If people want to find out more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
Probably the best is to Google 5by5, FIVE, and that'll take you to our website.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for being on the show. We've been speaking to Jon Hollenberg. I'm Renee Hasseldine. You're listening to Leveraged and Loving It. Talk to you next week.
For all the downloads and links mentioned in this episode, head to shareyourpassion.com.au.